Everyone knows Trump is from what background?
Real estate he started
He's from
with.
real estate background. Whether you buy a real estate, you buy a shirt, you buy a phone, you buy a watch, what do you do?
Returns.
Research.
Forget about research.
Bank balance.
Checking.
One is bank balance. How much money you have. You know what is your requirement. Ready?
Yes, go sir.
Yes, sir.
On episode 2.
So I was thinking probably this time I'll start by asking questions instead of you guys asking and I'm answering the questions. What happened last week? Some major activity at a global level in some powerful position.
Oh, Trump got into the office.
What do you think? What will happen? What he did?
Probably not let TikTok get banned.
That's US, of course. Because he started liking it, right? So, why it is significant? Like, what is the difference between Trump and any other leader across the globe politically, from our perspective?
I know it's going to lead into real estate, so
what?
you can tell us. We don't know.
So before that, I mean, everyone knows Trump is from what background?
Business,
Real estate he started
He's from
with.
real estate. Everyone knows about that. So what Trump told before he actually got into like that role when he was doing campaign and all that, and after he got victory, what 2-3 specific things he told? It's linked to his background. He wanted to buy an island, a country. He wanted to make Canada the 51st state. So the idea is he's looking at world and America from a real estate perspective. Because for him, what is America? America, I think what he look at as a country is it's a huge, large township. He has to take care of the economic value and the socio-economic value of the country. So for him, he wants to save his township or his country. And he can do anything to add, he is a developer, right? His job was to look for good, attractive land and create real estate or buy ready real estate and improve it. That's why he's looking for buying island somewhere in the middle of sea to increase the reach of his economy. Also wants to, if they're doing some economic favors to a country like Canada, he wants to take advantage and say, why don't you join us? So real estate is very fascinating. Probably every political leaders, I have a lot of real estate. But I think very few times it will happen. People from real estate background are going into political power or power at which matters. I don't think any other example you can think of where people from this background have gone to the top level. Although people at top level will have a lot of real estate for sure. What do you think what will happen this year because of that? He signed the first few orders. Although, of course, it depends upon whether the judiciary will approve or not. One of the order was to, cancel the citizenship of kids whose parents are not US citizens. You know that, right? Oh, so basically what happens in US, the kids who are born in US get citizenship automatically. Even if their parents are like not from US or they are different, like Indians who are going for job and they're working, they are Indian citizens. But if their kids are born, they get American citizenship. He wanted to cancel that. So he already signed the order. Of course, it's, judiciary is against it. I think a couple of states have already objected to that. What will impact? What will happen?
They'll come back.
Civil disruption.
No, he's going in the right way. Probably there'll be pressure.
There'll be pressure to come back.
If kids are not American citizens, if the parents are not, then what they'll do? So a lot of people are doing very funny things to keep their citizenship. Although it's effective from 19th of Feb. So I read in the newspaper, a lot of people are actually approaching doctors, expecting parents are saying, can we do premature surgery?
Yeah. I also read in
All
the
those
article
kind of
today.
things are happening. Why any country or state or city, attracts people?
Opportunity.
What opportunity?
Work opportunity.
Yeah.
Scope of growing and getting work and good opportunities to further their life in different ways.
So is it linked to any particular aspect of economy or geography or something?
Louder.
Mostly economy, like
Economy only economy.
It's also a lot of development, real estate development, or any other
So
form
economy
of
can be
development.
created in a very very different way on a probably it can be temporarily also created. What is economy? What is economic activity? Acha, okay, I'll go on to a different aspect. What is the biggest economic activity happening in India right now? Biggest economic activity for one city is happening in India.
The
Tax.
Maha Kumbh.
Prayagraj,
How many people one city is attracting?
almost 25 40 crores.
40 crores people. It's more than the population of US. US population is 32 crores. Do you think it will create a lot of money for people in Allahabad or Prayagraj?
Yeah.
That's economic activity. So someone has created that activity, or the activity is always there, but then it was probably created in a bigger. The opportunity was enhanced. Kumbh is happening from ages. People are used to go to Kumbh and come back, in probably same quantum. What is the difference this time?
This is the
After 144 years, I guess. This is
That's okay. That's spiritual aspect, economic aspect. I'm saying.
what is different from last time.
For last whatever couple of kumbhs, like maybe 20, 30 years back or something. It's organized in a way to create economic value. The plan is to create economic value. The hotel industries, they are temporary camps which are created. Huge amount of camps at a very heavy price. You know what kind of pricing they are getting? A camp. It varies from 6,000 to 20,000. Like a 5-star Leela hotel. People are paying it.
So you mean when you say camp, you mean hotels to
Tent
stay,
city. Tent city.
tent to stay.
So just tent, which is generally there in, let's say, Gujarat also. There's a festival in Gujarat, Bhuj, or in Rajasthan also. They have Maru Mela and all that. They create tent cities, temporary real estate. Economic activity can happen anywhere. You have to create it. Like people can create maybe spot opportunities, like once in a time, or not regular, but like kind of Maha Kumbh which is happening. It's like opportunity was created maybe well in advance, and people are using that opportunity to create a lot of economic value for the city and the state or the real estate. So everything which was available on real estate was used. So I'll compare this with another one. How many of you have heard of this company Airbnb?
Airbnb. Of
What is
course.
Airbnb?
All of us
All
have
of us,
stayed at least once.
Sorry?
All of us have stayed at least once.
What is Airbnb?
breakfast and
Air bread and breakfast.
Some
Air bread and breakfast.
bed and
That's-
breakfast. How
Bed
it,
and breakfast.
How it started? What's the concept?
So the concept. So I've seen the
Interview.
where he talks about it. So it was basically airbeds that he would provide to for someone to stay in his house, on which he would charge rentals. That was airbeds. That's how it started, but it did not result or give him a lot of profits. Then he's pivoted to going into the model that he's today.
I'll just qualify that. What happens is, probably that guy went to another city to attend a conference, and because so many people were there in the city to attend the conference, they were in the hotel rooms. He didn't find anything. So I think he stumbled upon this thing where he got an airbed, the typical airbed which you use in camping. He just used that, stayed. In the morning, he had breakfast. And then he thought probably he can have one more. So he had one extra airbed. He gave it to a fellow guy. He took some money and he offered a breakfast. So idea was, you don't have to go to a hotel every time. If you're traveling for a business purpose, business people who are going for a business purpose don't stay in hotel and use all the amenities. Like many times we all travel, right? We travel for meetings. We stay, we reach in the evening in the hotel, we just go for sleep. Morning we have breakfast and we go. In the hotel you have like tennis court, swimming pool, gym, sauna, spa, whatever, everything. How many times you use? Maybe less than 1% times. So although we are paying for all that, but we are not using it. The concept was different. So, and you can't create real estate in hotels just like that. In a city like Bangalore, there'll be 10,000 rooms. You can't double it just for the sake of it, right? Although travelers are increasing, but then different format of real estate is coming. So Airbnb is one of the format. So you can, not everyone will be paying that kind of hotel room rate to use. People can pay 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. There are OA rooms which are available for 1,200, 1,500 also. No frills. Same concept, but they are organized. So then there are 5-star hotels which are available for 25,000 also. All kind of people stay. So real estate is also going there. You have to evolve. So the idea was products. So I thought probably we'll touch upon this topic where how real estate products are evolved.
So I had some questions around the Airbnb. So people have started using it as a business model also, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
would.
yeah.
It's like how Uber people were taking cabs and getting drivers and running it as cabs and
Cabs.
making
Yeah,
money.
yeah, yeah.
It's a similar where they have taken like a apartment of sorts and all of that, or villas, and they are running Airbnb business out of that.
It's there. Yeah.
So in terms of, so there was certain models that I was confused about. So if you own an apartment and then you are renting it out, that's fine. That's a simple, straightforward model.
Simple rental. Yeah.
Yeah, that's simple renting based on the number of days that person stays. But there were models that I have seen people renting a villa or an apartment and then doing Airbnb business on it.
So what happens? There are 2 or 3 different kind of scenarios. They are organized communities. Communities we have apartments. So you buy an apartment in a community, you can only rent to a family because community have guidelines. The families which are staying. You can't rent it to people who are coming every day or changing every day. There's a people who are moving in, they have to sign up as a resident or a tenant. They have to give thumb impression. There is access control. Now, if your tenants are staying every day, it will be difficult, cumbersome to create thumb impression every day, biometric every day, and you never know who's coming, who's going. It's a risky. There's a risk involved for the people who are staying for long term. So probably for a standard standalone apartments or residential communities in a gated community, the only option is mostly rental, where you rent to a family who stayed for like anywhere between 6 months to 11 months, 2 years, whatever. Then there are independent properties where you can buy a independent house or a plot and build it. There people are giving to Airbnb, so they can put on a weekend basis also. So you must have heard in Bangalore, there are a lot of Airbnb properties in North Bangalore. So you
Villas.
can rent it. You can rent it for a
Party.
weekend parties. Yeah. So in communities nowadays, because there are a lot of neighbors who don't want to have noise and party and all that, so they complain about it. So people who want to do party for a particular occasion can rent these Airbnb, go far away from town and enjoy.
So there are few builders who are mainly like farmlands. So they mainly advertise as use this property for a Airbnb, because farmland is a new concept, right? Like plots is there, apartments are there, but farmlands recently, if you see in a Bangalore only, like a lot of projects are coming up for farmlands. But these people mainly focus on Airbnb. You can build a small house and you can give that to an Airbnb. Do you think apartment Airbnb will work better than this farmland? So
Farmland or plots will be definitely work better because apartments are very cluttered. Apartments are actually not suitable for Airbnb. Maybe companies can use that as a guest house, but not for Airbnb. If it is a part of a community, if independent apartments are there, see, apartments are anyway, like why people will go to Airbnb? People will go from city only, right? There will be very few chances. Like someone is coming from different city to attend a conference. The use case was there. Then he is having conference mostly in the city area. In city area near the hotels, if there's some
Nearby.
apartments which can be used for Airbnb, that's a completely different game. But there are not many properties like that.
For recreation, they'll go outside.
Recreation, they go
So
outside.
it is sort of become like that people have these pretty Airbnb properties which is more from recreational than
Mostly
the use case that you're
recreational.
talking
Yes,
about.
yes, correct.
So do you feel that it's going to impact the kind of work that we do in terms of rental businesses?
So we are also actually telling clients to look for Airbnb products when we are trying to sell plots towards North Bangalore or West Bangalore. There are many existing case studies. You can actually go and see that. So there are many Airbnbs running there. People are charging as high as 15,000-20,000 per weekend. So that kind of money is there. So if you rent it, you will get 50, 60,000, 70,000. If you just use for 4 days in a month, you will make 1 lakh. Plus 20 days, it's free. So you can do whatever you want to do.
Plus the deterioration of the property also is lesser.
Yeah.
So going back to the farmlands point, farmland as a whole. So we've seen farmland in general. People start at 5,000 square feet is what the product we've seen.
Yeah, 5 guntas. So 5,600 square feet. Yeah.
Correct. So now Farmlands has a norm that 10% is what we can construct.
Yeah.
And when we are doing this farmland concept and we do it as Airbnb, uh, the s- the kind of rental yield that we can possibly earn through farmland is possibly going to be a lot higher.
Yeah.
Is that something that so I, as far as I see, that the rates firstly is very less for farmlands, whereas the rental yield,
Don't say that it will increase.
no, because obviously land is cheaper. We are talking about farmlands which will be outside the city
Sooner the
mostly.
pricing will be matching the other plotted developments. So already people are quoting 2,000, 3,000 rupees for farmlands. Earlier it was less than 1,000 rupees. Now they're quoting 2,000, 3,000.
So as an investment product, farmlands, as an investment product, would you see it, or would you consider
Farmland
it?
converted into Airbnb is an investment product. Farmland for self-use is not an investment product. It's just for self-use. You also have values, right? So you want to stay, you want to enjoy the property.
What possibly are the negatives that you could say for a farmland versus, like, pros and cons of versus farmland versus an apartment
So I
for
mean,
income
see, in
passive?
terms of resale, if you are looking at reselling the property in short to medium term, 5-7 years, apartments are better. Farmlands are not, will not be so easy to sell. But if you're looking at 10-year plus horizon, then of course, by that time that you must have recovered your investment anyway. So it's profit only you. So you're not bothered about what price you're getting. And at that time, the market will be evolved. So the buyer will have a evolved property with the credentials of Airbnb or similar product. So they'll be able to buy. So it'll be an investment product. Have you seen a hotel in Koramangala, Cilantro? Cilantro or something, if I'm not getting the name right. So 80 feet road, when you're coming from Sony World towards this side, it's on the left hand side junction before Maharaja Signal or whatever 19 that 1522 new rest pub is there, na? Whatever.
Before Maharaja's,
Left. Okay, there is a hotel. Forget about it. So someone bought a 1 acre land, group of friends. They wanted to have a revenue from hotel industry. They wanted to build apartment and generate revenue as good as hotel industry. What they did, they built 100, 810 rooms, 1 BHKs and 2 BHKs, like apartment. It was a residential project. 1 BHK, 2 BHK. Some people who were building, they also owned few units. They sold to other outside people also. So now and they clearly told from day one, we are selling you 1 BHK, we'll rent it back from you and we'll run as a hotel and we'll give you that rental on an undivided share basis. From day one, that was the concept. This hotel is a residential project running as a hotel. Of course, they've taken all commercial approvals. It's all in compliance. There is no wrong thing. But it was sold as individual apartments. So every apartment, 1 BHK, 2 BHK, is sold as a residential apartment. There's an individual owner. He has a sale deed in his name. There is an association. That association has a president, there's an operator. Every owner has leased back that to an operating company. That company is running the hotel. So every owner is aware that this will be, if he wants, they can stay also. If they say, I want to stay there. Everyone is running is a hotel, but they want to stay. People can stay. Individual owners are there. They get their rent or revenue share on a monthly basis. If they want to sell, they can sell their individual 1 BHK, 2 BHK to anyone else. There will be sale deed, everything is same. But it's a hotel property, it's running as a hotel. So similarly, if a project is sold telling Airbnb, then everyone will be buying, keeping in mind Airbnb only. If some owner wants to still build a house and stay there, no one is stopping, he is okay. But he is agreeing to the fact that neighborhood will be Airbnb.
So
I mean, you want to stay in a happening place, who will stop you, right?
so it's not very different from that fractional ownership concept.
Fractional
That there is an
ownership, you
operating
don't know
company.
which space you have, right? So you don't know, like fractional ownership, there is a building, whether it's a residential or hotel or a retail or a commercial
Achha, it's not a
space,
demarcated
you
area.
don't know demarcated. This building is there, I have 500 square feet in this, there's 1 lakh square feet. Whatever rent is coming, I'll get my share out of it. I don't know which 500 I own. But in this, this is you can go and
Unit.
put a lock. But it is shared one. So there is a lease back thing, sale and lease back. There are many properties like that where they say it will be sold as a hotel and then lease back. So strata sale, for example, happens like that only, na?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I meant.
That's also one
actually
big segment
startup.
where people can buy a commercial space undivided share by paying maybe 10 lakhs or 25 lakhs minimum and upwards of that, and then own a space, share in that. You don't have money to buy a full commercial building, you can buy a space in that. A lot of residential apartments are now being used as student living or co-living. So they rent it like that. Full building is rented for
Coming to this topic only then, that someone has taken a full building which has like say 20 30 1 bhks, uh, 1 bhks, and then now I have bought it as a residential property or a commercial property, because
so basically you bought it as a residential property. So see, capital expenditure is different. You buying as a residential property, you are running that as a hotel or a commercial property, you have to pay a little more tariff. You have to tell government, I am using this as a commercial thing, so I have to pay a little more for water charges, for BESCOM charges, for any other utilities. So the tariff will change.
so the income generated from that is considered as a
Taxed as
second,
commercial, yeah,
as commercial, it's treated as commercial.
commercial.
So this is not regarding investment what we are doing for Airbnb. So people have a mindset like what to buy coming to a land, like a plot, farmland or a empty land. So few people are buying land outside of the city, wherein because of the outer ring roads developments and all, like whatever development is happening in the city, so the land is getting appreciated more in the short time, more than plots what they are buying in the city.
Before that, I'll come to one step.
Yeah.
Before you do anything, whether you buy a real estate, you buy a shirt, you buy a phone, you buy a watch, what do you do?
Returns.
Research.
Forget about research.
Bank balance.
Checking.
One is bank balance, how much money you have. You know what is your requirement. You should know what is your requirement, na? Like what you're looking to do. Whether you want to buy a iPhone and shoot a camera or a movie, or you want to buy whatever app, or like you must be using a lot of specialized app. So you want to record, shoot this thing and maybe edit in a particular way. You're buying a shirt for a fancy wedding, or you're buying a shirt for a casual holiday. What is your requirement?
So,
So I'll tell you, you have to put your requirement analysis in place. First, you have to jot down your requirement. You should be clear. Whether you're writing or not, it's a different thing. Ideally, you should write if it's good. You should have in your mind what is your requirement for what you want to do, and how much money you have, and how much money you can take from loan. So your equity plus debt, how much capital you have, and what you want to do with that, and what's your horizon. So whether you're buying a property in the city center or like peripheral area or like faraway areas, it all depends upon what's your requirement, what's your plan.
so actually, in a gated community plot, for
Farmland or plot, individual plot.
plot, sir,
Plot, okay.
in a gated community,
Residential plot, right?
yeah, residential plot. I am investing it in for investment purpose in North Bangalore. It's developing, so I want to invest in plot. So in a gated community, the plot price will be 50 lakhs. If I go a little bit further, where the in the North Bangalore itself, where the land price will be little bit less, and I'll get more land. Where in future, in upcoming 1 or 2 years, the land value will be the same as the plot which I am buying it for 50 lakhs. So I can double the money for the land, right? So where should I go? Like whether I need to invest in plot or land.
He's talking about agri. He's mainly
He's
referring
mixing
to.
2-3 things.
No, he's mainly referring to one is converted land, that is Ekata, which is the plots in gated community. The second one is agriculture land, which is
Open
not
land.
been converted, where you get in 1 acre, 2 acres, or 5 kuntas, 10 kuntas. So, which is better for high return? As an investment, should you go to non-converted land and as an agriculture land?
So this is very different. Okay. So non-converted land has a lot of risk. If you are a person from that area, you know the local people, the tehsildar, the people who are owning the land nearby, neighborhood and all that, then you can buy that land. Every land will increase its value based on what is happening in and around it, right? So if the pace of development is faster in the place you are buying plot or land, it is faster than what you anticipate or what will market will happen, then you can buy that. But then what happens, Bangalore is like a circular thing. So you farther you go, the circumference will increase, the diameter will increase, right? So there will be more and more areas similar to what you're buying. So then there's a risk. You are thinking the price will increase. Organically, how much demand will be generated? Organically will be generated in a particular strata. So that strata will go to your particular space, or it will go 5 kilometers away on a circumference equidistance from center. We don't know. Like STRR is happening. STRR is like 130 kilometers long or 120 kilometers long. Where the action will happen?
So, but don't you think that investing in a developed area, as in Koramangala or let's say Sarjapur, you will be getting higher rental income yield? Don't you think?
What is rental income yield?
Like the rent
Higher rent or yield?
income.
कामया कोरमंगला
I'll
में कोई
tell
खरीद
you.
नहीं पाएगा भाई.
Then I'll tell you. If you're getting a 50,000 rent in, let's say HSR, our old office, 2 bedroom we rented for 50,000 rupees. If you're buying that property for 2 crores, what is the yield? 50,000 into 12 is 6 lakh. Over 2 crores is 3% yield. If you're buying the same property in Yelahanka, right?
Yeah. I'm just looking at her reaction.
I'm understanding.
If you're buying the same property in Yelahanka, you're getting 30,000 rent. You're buying for 1 crore. 30,000 is like 3.6. So the return is 3.6%, which is higher. Your rent is less, but the return is more. So it depends upon how much you're paying, how much you're getting. So how much your parents have invested in your education, how much salary you are earning. That's return.
That's the yield they are getting.
That's the yield they are not getting.
Full depreciating. नेगेटिव में जा रहा है डे टू डे.
So what is the break even?
हाँ,
In how many years you will recover the investment in education?
pretty much almost never and probably traumatized.
That's how you calculate return on investment, right?
Sir, as you were talking about the community, why people buy a property because of the community and neighborhood, right? So I have a question. Basically, we are seeing a trend. As in Bangalore, there are a mix of people are from every cities, right? So earlier they were like only Bangaloreans invest in plots and they don't go for apartments. And people who come from outside to work here or any business related things, they used to invest only in apartment, not plots. But we are seeing a trend that basically Bangaloreans are investing more in apartments also because of a luxury thing, and people who come from outside also are investing both in apartments and in plots. So why do you think that is happening, and is it because only of the return or only because of the community?
So I'll tell you what is happening is people who are originally from Bangalore, like who are staying in Bangalore for let's say 2 or 3 generations, maybe 30, 40 years. That's how each generation is, let's say nowadays it's 15 years, but I'm taking 20 years. Let's say now every 15 years generation changes, right? So 30, 40 years people who are staying there, they were staying in independent houses, in independent bungalows and all that. Their kids, new generation people, now in old areas where you have independent house, there was a common club. Mostly there was a common club and people used to go there and play or swim or interact or do parties or whatever. But when their kids are now exposed to the apartment concept, or they're exposed to a higher interactive things, because in community, in an apartment or in a community where multiple apartments are there, the interaction is much higher. You don't have to go to your, like independent house, like a huge house. You may have 10 houses in a row, but in an apartment complex, in a one same area, you can have 100 or 200 because they are high rise, right? So 20 floors, so you can have 100 apartments also. So you can have 100 neighbors. So the possibility of getting more neighbors, more interactions, more communication is higher. So a lot of young generations, new age people, this generation or maybe let's say previous generation, they want to have more of interaction, more of communication. Society is changing, right? So now they want to interact a lot. So they want to move to apartments. Secondly, in COVID, what happens? People realize the power of communities, because a lot of benefits were there. Community used to take care of. You were not supposed to go out, but you were supposed to go in within the community. So there were a lot of help and support available for every aspect, whether it's a food or a health or security or anything. There was a support available within the community. So after COVID, a lot of people who are from previous generations have moved to apartments. One important thing is a lot of people in Karnataka who are staying in Karnataka, who got education in Karnataka, are now working abroad, a large chunk. They have aging parents. They are living in independent houses. There's a risk, there's a security risk which is there. You know what happens to Saif Ali Khan? In apartment also, in a small apartment. That's bad, right? So in Bangalore, there are many cases, independent bungalows, people have entered and, they have done something wrong to senior citizens and taken money or whatever. So there's a risk. So that's why those people also want to move their senior parents to apartments, gated community. So suddenly there is a shift happening. So I think I read somewhere, I think right now 30 to 33% of the population is living in apartments. In next 10 years, it will become 50%. So it means every new house which is built, 90% of the new real estate will be sold in community. Then that's how 33 will become 50. So 90% of the new built will be in communities. There are a lot of advantages of community, right?
So what will happen to the independent house that is there? Like, will the new projects gonna come up there?
So independent houses will also be there. Of course, a lot of people will go back and buy those. Of course, the pricing will be high, so people who can afford will do. I see a lot of opportunities for redevelopment. People may buy two or three and then build a commercial if it's a commercial space like in Nizam Nagar, the entire lane is commercial, so they've demolished and converted into commercial. Otherwise, they can do a redevelopment. They can build, they can demolish the villa or a house and build 10 or 12 apartments and sell it. So small apartment may also come. That's a good opportunity. In Koramangala, HSR and all that, you see a lot of these apartments, good apartments, because they are in the middle of commercial street. A lot of people want to stay closer to these areas. So that's there. But you're right. I mean, a lot of demand is happening for people are moving towards gated communities. That's there.
So there was one question one of my friend had asked. I wanted to just check with you on that also. So I did not have an answer at that point. He asked me if it wasn't a tier 1 city, which tier 2 city would you suggest to invest real estate in?
So I'm personally not a great fan of tier 2 cities. I don't have anything against them.
I'm assuming investment
perspective. But I have done a lot of studies on tier 2, tier 3 cities also. I studied Mysore, Cochin, Trivandrum, Jaipur, Lucknow, Chandigarh in a huge way. I've gone there many times. I've studied there. Unfortunately, they have not picked up the way they wanted, like they should be. Nagpur is a great example. It's a great city, a lot of advantage. Still, it's not like it has not grown to a level where like a Delhi or a Bombay or a Pune is there. So tier 2, tier 3 towns, they attract a lot of money, attract a lot of real estate from the neighborhood. Like maybe in Mysore or like in Jaipur, people will come from nearby small towns to Jaipur. I don't see people going from, let's say, Bangalore to invest in Jaipur or Lucknow to invest in Jaipur or Chandigarh to go invest in Jaipur and vice versa. So tier 2, tier 3 towns are self-centric, like they're self-sustained, self-contained areas. Their pricing is also good. We have a lot of properties which are very high because money. There are also a lot of businessmen or people are earning a lot of money. There's a lot of capacity to buy, but then it's not like they are getting money from different locations. So tier 2, tier 3 towns is a very, very long shot. I've not seen personally. I would like to see, but I have not seen a success story coming out of a tier 2, tier 3 towns from a real estate perspective. Every city has its own challenges. Of course, because of urbanization, these towns, every capital city, like whatever 27, 28 capital cities are there in India, they are getting a lot of demand. Like Jaipur is doing very well, Lucknow is doing very well. All these capital cities are doing very well within the state. Chandigarh, Mohali is doing very well within the state. But then I don't see much action happening from other states to those cities. I don't see much action happening. People buying from different states in Jaipur or in Chandigarh or in Lucknow or in, let's say, I don't know. So there was a very good grade A developer who wanted to, they launched a very good high-end plotted development in Ayodhya after the inauguration of Ram Temple, and they were marketing aggressively. They managed to sold to some celebrities also, but still, it took time to sell, right? So Of course, it's sold, but it took time. Versus if you have this kind of scenario in Bangalore or a Pune or a Delhi, it'll be sold like hotcakes. You don't have to launch it also.
Sir, if you take Bangalore for an example, Bangalore, the kind of residential and commercial development happening, do you think the infrastructure development is keeping up with it?
Infrastructure
Like the
development
roads.
is way behind demand.
Yeah, won't it eventually bring down the demand? Because I see traffic everywhere, and maybe in the future, if I have an option,
So if Aman sir tell you to go to Cochin and work, will you go?
I might. I might.
Mysore?
Sir, please answer.
I don't think if something happens drastically bad, then maybe like even COVID couldn't do. Then infrastructure is actually a problem in all the major cities. It's bad. It will take time, but I think people are agnostic to some extent. It's very easy to crib on social media and put posts and videos, traffic and creating memes and all that, but people are not living, right?
Correct.
They're still buying. Huh?
I have to.
They're still buying. So if you look at how many people have moved from let's say UP or Bihar or Rajasthan or Gujarat to cities which are like in Pune or Bangalore or Hyderabad versus how many people from these states have gone to those cities. You'll see a multiple of 20 or 30 minimum. Delta will be huge. People don't want to go like how many people like you'll be open to go to Bangalore except Sneha maybe. So Bangalore is a good city, very beautiful city. Cost of living is so good, very low, air is so fresh, very nice. How many of you think people often repent after buying a real estate? They repent on buying their decision of buying a real estate.
You're asking percentage of people approximately.
What is your guess? What is your guess? Many people will repent? I'm not saying you should know the answer. I'm saying your guess.
None.
Huh?
None.
None.
When they don't choose the right builder, like grade B and all, like they don't get appreciation for the investment that they have done, and also these agriculture lands, when they invest and they are not able to sell, and some litigation happens to that property, and then trusting a wrong builder and they don't get the OC, and then their investment is on toss. Maybe at this time, because only grade A builders will give on time, but grade B builders and other individual projects and all are getting stuck because of that.
I'll tell you an interesting scenario. One of my client, Mantri Spana is a very big community in Belandur. Luxury, Mantri Spana. So they had all kind of homes, 3, 4, 5 BHKs also. At one point of time, because of some reason, whatever business reasons, there were some large homes available for sale at a very attractive price. So 5-bedroom flats were available at a price of let's say 3 or 3.5. Very, very attractive. So one of my client, businessman, he went and bought, and he was super happy. He bought a 5 BHK with a pool. It was a triplex kind of thing with a pool at a price which was there for maybe less than 2 rooms, like 3 or 3.5 rooms. Super happy. Within 6 months, he was saying, "Oh, I made a mistake." Can you guess what can be the reason? He got a killer deal. He got a house at a let's say 40% discount. So on day one, his value of house is 40% up. Still, he was repenting.
Construction quality.
Was it ready to move?
Of course, he moved there.
Vastu was wrong.
Vastu was wrong. That makes a lot of sense.
How many you have dogs? Pet.
Pet was not allowed.
How many you have pet?
How many of us have dogs?
How much you pay to have that pet?
On a monthly basis.
When you bought or you adopted or whatever. You didn't pay anything. Let's say normally someone wants to buy a pet.
5,000.
5,000. Na? If I tell you I can give you 5,000 my tiger also, what you will do? White tiger you can buy. You'll buy?
Yeah.
Killer deal.
Killer deal.
After 6 months, what you'll say?
Killed. Maintenance is high.
White tiger, white elephant. What to do?
Too much.
He has to pay too much. How much you pay for
Maintenance is very high.
2 people, husband, wife, one small kid, 3 people staying in 5 BHK, paying 25,000 maintenance. What to do? How many times they'll go and do in swimming pool? They have a swimming pool in clubhouse also. Personal swimming pool, what they'll do? They can't go every day.
And cleaning the swimming pool.
Just because the deal was good.
Just rent it out and you get it.
To whom?
Somebody for
He wanted to stay there.
And then it's sharing.
So I'm telling, see, one of my professor in my college once told me, every decision is wrong in long term. It's a very debatable thing. Every decision is wrong in long term. Can someone explain why?
Because
Is it a pessimistic or optimistic statement, first of all?
Pessimistic.
It's optimistic.
it's an optimistic.
Every
Because
decision is a wrong
decision in long term. Because
how is it optimistic?
the simple logic
What
is.
else? She's saying something.
Hey, grab
What
the
did you
mic.
say?
I just said that maybe your requirements would change in the future.
No.
so-
Forget about requirements. I'm just saying every decision is wrong in long term. Is it a pessimistic or optimistic statement?
I feel it's optimistic.
Why?
The simple reason is because my demands and my requirements change every 5 to 7 years as a human being in general.
You marry
And-
someone and you repent after 5 years. How the demand will change?
Even if I have a kid 7 years later, he's not a kid and like a child, he
Yeah.
grows up. The cycle of life changes
Changes
drastically in every 5 to 7 years.
But then it can change for good or bad both.
True. But in the long term,
The very
Okay, I'll go back to this thing. Who told me? My professor told me. He must be having some, academic reason to say. I'm giving you a hint. Why he says so?
he said it's optimistic.
He said that thing, and later on we discussed. So I'm just saying.
Okay.
What can be the reason of
I
a-
get you. In the long run, you will realize it's optimistic, but the very statement sounds pessimistic.
No. Okay.
What are you asking?
I'm saying why he said that. Why you think it was optimistic? It was optimistic. I'm telling you, but why? What do you think?
Change.
So okay, his thesis was a little different. He was saying human beings evolve. With time-
change.
wait, let him.
So
That is his attitude.
human beings evolve. We are exposed to new things every day. Our exposure increases to new thought processes, not technology, not opportunities. New thought process. We learn every day to think in a different way. So when we are exposed, when we are taking a decision, our exposure is X. After some time, our exposure will be Y, which can be a multiple of X or delta of whatever X. Then maybe we can look back at that decision in a critical way, and we may think we could have taken a alternate decision in a better way.
Or a better decision.
So what he in turn told, like someone is buying a real estate and is saying, oh, I made a mistake. I could have bought at a lower price, or I could have done a better deal. I could have bought a different house next door, or east facing or north facing, whatever. What happens is every decision you take, it's important to take decision. Whatever decision you take, there may be a scenario where you will say, oh, it was a wrong decision. But what is important is to take a decision. Every decision is an opportunity.
Sir, entirely I summarized and I used the word change. Evolution, change, the movement.
Wow.
That's
Very
what I
good.
summarized and I said change.
Excellent.
Right?
Cut this part, please.
But explanation is important.
No, I just summarized because I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
you to talk.
Correct.
Otherwise, my take doesn't
Thanks for affiliation. Yeah, but that's what. So I mean, if you look at real estate, every decision which is made, people do think many times. People still think they could have done a better negotiation, better pricing, whatever. It's always there. There's no end to it. But what is important is just take the decision and move on. Do something else. So taking decisions is an opportunity. Every decision is an opportunity. Take it and do it.
Even when I'm investing in stocks, I'm considering, I should have waited a little longer. I would have gotten
Got a lower price or something.
no better price. I would have sold at whatever.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would book better profits, whatever it is.
When someone sell a real estate, immediately he'll say, oh, I could have sold at 10 lakh more. That's a standard thing we heard from sellers.
Good talk.
और सर उतना मजा नहीं है सुबह करेंगे अगली बार
अगले episode में will be fun.
हैं
It'll be a lot more fun, I believe.
नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग में
Next episode.
हाँ